Okay, so we want to move through it as efficiently as we can, but if something needs to stop, please stop. Okay.
This is his instinctive response. Ooh, be careful, you don't want to be a caretaker.
Stephen, the character that I play in Where Do We Live, is ahead of his time. When we started the rehearsal process for the thesis, we started with table work. So we read the script out loud several times, focusing purely on the words, because that's where it all starts. And then later on, we do add a physical life, which really brings the words to life. But you have to know what you're saying first before you can determine how you're saying it. In theater, unlike in film, you don't get multiple takes, you don't get multiple shots, so really you have to come on and you have to just get straight into it.
If you got $10, I can pay you back when my check comes. It's 2 days late now, nothing I can do.
I'm just saying, he doesn't have any protection. He's black,
Yeah,
he's
but what
disabled.
I'm saying is, what if he just takes that money and buys alcohol?
I'm sure he's not gonna buy alcohol.
You don't know that.
Well, okay, even if he does, I mean, I drink, you're on drugs right now.
What does that have to do with anything?
I think as the play progresses, when he starts to get into his political arguments, that you can be a little more confident in your points.
I grew up poor. My father worked 2 jobs.
I hear that.
No one ever handed them anything.
Right.
You know?
Sure, but did you ever think that maybe it was easier for them because they were white?
Whoa. They face anti-Semitism all their lives.
Right, but being Jewish is very different than being black.
Okay. You don't know their lives.
I'm not saying that I did.
Yes? You're talking about their lives. It was easier for them because they were
I'm talking
white.
about facts of history, facts of race.
You don't know their life or my life.
I'm not saying that I know their
My
lives.
mother is dead!
I think the biggest change for me came from one of Ron's notes, which is that Stephen sees things that are wrong in society, in the world, but also in his relationships. But we don't always have the tools to go about making that change, and that's beautifully frustrating, I think. That's what drives so many of the characters in this play, and I think that's what drives so many of us in our own lives.
Yeah.
Hey, when you're ready to start investing some money, you come talk to me first, okay?
Gotcha. I think when I originally read the character of Patricia, I imagined her to be very like myself, and through working with Ron, we figured out that she's a bit more unhinged. She's not afraid to say what she thinks, and so we worked on toughening her up a little bit, and I think that was the biggest transformation from the first day of rehearsal.
We've talked about the language in the play, right? And so a lot of it is how the language flows. It's not a line, a pause, a line, a pause, a line, a pause. Because right now, if we were to do it at the pace we did it tonight, they're way ahead of you.
I got money saved now. Saved. Why?
So I don't need.
So I don't need. What I need.
9. Shut my boy. I think we skipped. You did?
Well, go back and get it.
Alright, so going back. Next time Dave comes, I just gotta tell him to find someone else.
I don't know, it seemed to have lost its connection. It was more like watching actors trying to remember things than being able to easily engage there.
Absorbing notes can be dangerous territory for me sometimes because I tend to understand things in my brain but not really let it flow through my body. So one thing I wanted to try with this thesis is just going to the body first and then seeing how it translates on stage.
Is it the same as the last 12 times you counted it?
Yeah.
Lily.
No.
Nothing happening.
I don't believe you.
No. I still live. The color is wrong.
I've never had true love. At least you've had that.
I don't know.
It was true love.
And transition. And let's take 3 minutes. Take a moment, catch your breath, get your clothes on, and we'll come reconvene. Stage managers make sure that there's a plan for every day you go into a rehearsal, so you know exactly what you're doing. And in doing that, you're able to free up all of this space for more creativity and more play on the stage. If you feel safe and supported, you can just go out there and play and have a good time and just do really good work. I love seeing actors make discoveries. I love making discoveries myself. I love seeing all of the pieces come together that used to be just on paper, and then you see the set being built and you're like, wow, this is really, really cool. And then when the audience comes in as that final piece, you realize that you've created a thing that's making people feel something, which was the whole reason you did this to begin with.
It's like, I know exactly what not to do in my life, but I don't know what to do, you know?
That's not it. People get fired.
I don't know what to do!
You'll be okay.
I learned that every actor kind of has to give up a piece of themselves for the character. We come in with a lot of, this is what I think it should be, instead of really giving ourselves over to the character and letting the character and the play take us on a ride.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's just the world. It's just the world.
You know I love you? What? No. And I don't just say that because, like, that I'm rolling, but like, that we can be friends.
One of the biggest things that Columbia's acting program has taught me is to just let go of ego and to be excited for notes. When you get a note, it's not an attack on what you're doing, but it's rather just, oh, let's try it this way, and it should be exciting. It's a fun challenge to say, okay, how am I gonna make that live and work for me as the character?
USA! USA! Come on, Patricia. Show a little patriotism, huh?
Who cares what we do in this world? It's all how you look. Who cares who speaks at a funeral? Just go to the gym and sign up. Dye your hair blonde, buy the right clothes.
There just aren't enough words to describe the fullness of what I'm experiencing here in Colombia. My character Leo, he's someone who abuses cocaine. To act as though chemically something's going on with my body without it actually happening was such a huge challenge. I had to let go of my focus on the performance being about the drug and go back to being like, why am I saying this? Who am I saying this to? And why is it important that I say this right now? The F-14s are flying low tonight.
The flow of that conversation between Stephen and Leo has to be much crisper. He's battling against being oppressed rather than being done in by being oppressed.
We were very fortunate to have Sita Mani coaching us and giving warm-ups for the whole ensemble before each performance. It allowed me to feel really connected to everyone in the play.
I think it's all about feeling, knowing when something isn't going right vocally or something isn't going right physically. So I think it's really important for us to treat our bodies as instruments. My character changed throughout the process of having more empathy. Even though he's aspiring for something greater, I think after September 11th happens in the play, my character then realizes, let me enjoy this moment with another person while I still have it, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or even down the line. And I think that's important for people just to realize in general. This play really teaches a lot about take nothing for granted, but to enjoy every moment while you have it.